Hello everybody, it is me, Diogen Z, and today I am going to be your PokeProffesor and tell you my opinions on the Johto starters. Now this is another video request from many different followers of my videos. If you would like to put in a request, just leave comments on my videos and make sure you're subscribed to me, and then I will totally get back to you. So now that I have some time, I'm going to go over the starters. Better late than never, I always say, right? So first we're going to start off with Chikorita. Now I'm going to look at these Pokemon in different aspects. One, I'm going to look at it from the standpoint of Soul Silver or Heart Gold, which would be the best, what gyms can you attack, things of that nature. And then I'm also going to look at them in a different light as far as competitive battling goes. And by competitive battling, I mean battling people online via the Wi-Fi connection that Nintendo provides. Each of them have varying skills for each aspect, so that's why I wanted to give you an all-around look at them. So Chikorita's evolution chain, we'll start off with Chikorita. It goes Chikorita, then into Bayleaf, and then into Meganium. I believe Chikorita, being the grass type, much like all the other grass types in the series from different regions, evolves the fastest. However, I find Chikorita is reserved for those who are experienced players, those who have played Pokemon in the past, who have perhaps mastered Gold and Silver in the past, and now are looking for a bit more of a challenge. Then I would suggest choosing Chikorita. One place that you can easily train up Chikorita fast in the beginning is that route off to the side. The route that usually you go down Blackthorn City to, or from, the one where you have to hop all those ledges, that's the route. And by going in there, you can face a lot of Geodudes. So once you have Razor Leaf, it'll be a very easy way to buff up your Chikorita for some good leverage, because the first gym is Flying type, which Chikorita is not effective against. And also the Sprout Tower, which is usually a training spot, is null and void here too, again, because Chikorita, it barely has any effect. The only Pokemon you can fight in there are Wild Rattatas, Ghastlies, and of course the trained Pokemon, Hoot, which is, definitely super effective against Grass type, and of course the Sprouts themselves, Bellsprout. So neither of those Pokemon are going to level up Chikorita adequately enough. However, the game does counteract the weakness of Chikorita's being a Grass type by allowing you to have Miracle Seed in the beginning of the game after you receive Togepi from the professor's assistant, Professor Elm. Then you go down south and continue on Route 32. But right before you go to Route 32, a man will stop you and give you Miracle Seed. So I don't recommend Chikorita for those who are noobs, and it's nothing to be ashamed of, guys. We all had to start somewhere, right? So I would not recommend Chikorita. However, if you're looking for a challenge, if you're a veteran of the series, then sure, it would be a very fun and definitely daunting task for you to raise. Now, on the competitive side, Chikorita, we're looking at Meganium now, doesn't get that much better. What you can do is, if you have a solar team, basically by having a Pokemon who uses Sunny Day, or maybe having Groudon on your team, which will make, with the Pokemon ability that it has, will make it Sunny Day, and then using Solar Beam with Meganium. This would have to be incorporated into your team very strategically. Some other things you might want to look out for are Sleep Powders, Poison Powders, different devious Grass-type moves for Meganium to have. Overall, it has some good HP, so it can take some hits, but if it's hit by a super effective move, then, it probably doesn't stand a chance. It's also a dual-type Pokemon. It's Poison and Grass, so Psychic attacks will affect it greatly. Now moving on to Totodile. Totodile is kind of the middle. Totodile is rough and tumble Pokemon. You can also train it in the same route that you did Chikorita to gain some good leverage in the beginning. You don't want to take it to Sprout Tower because it's weak against Grass types, but it can fight it out with pure brute strength when it comes to the first gym, Falconer's Gym, because it's a Water type, and eventually it will gain enough leverage and grow into a Feraligatr. The evolution chain is Totodile, Croconaw, and then Feraligatr. And once you have a Feraligatr, you can teach it Ice Fang, Blizzard, or Ice Beam, I believe. And with that, you can take on some of the tougher trainers in the region, such as Claire, who is the 8th gym, or taking on the Dragon Master himself, the Pokemon Champion Lance, which is, one of the last fights you'll fight in the game. So overall, I would say Totodile is a long-term friend and is good for really any range trainer. It would be safe to say that this is a good Pokemon to pick up whether you're a noob or you're, a guru like myself. It's fun to train, it's a really outgoing Pokemon, and it'll get you through most scruffs. On the competitive side, looking at Feraligatr, I personally have raised a Feraligatr, EV trained it with a brave nature, and I believe I made it EVs towards attack power. It might be special attack power, I'm not sure, and also HP, I believe. Because with that, Feraligatr has a pretty good move pool to choose from, whether you want to train it to be a physical fighter with just attack EVs, or even someone who uses special attack, so you could teach it moves like Surf, or what have you, whether it's Blizzard or Ice Fang, whether it's Aqua Tail or Surf. Feraligatr has both sides of the coin. It's a very versatile Pokemon to have during battles, competitive battles. However, it doesn't really have any good ability to depend on. But if you're looking for a good loyal water Pokemon with some, beefy defense stats, so it's not taken out in one hit, then definitely choose Feraligatr. Okay, and finally, last but certainly not least, my favorite, Cyndaquil. Now, me and Cyndaquil go far back. The first when I got Gold, he was my first Pokemon ever in the game, and I have since then played the game over many different occasions due to the internal battery failure. Thank goodness we don't face that on the DS cartridges of today, right? So, the evolution chain for Cyndaquil goes Cyndaquil, Quilava, and then Typhlosion. And Typhlosion, I do believe that Cyndaquil evolves the slowest out of the three. However, it's ironic, but if you want to zip through the game, then definitely choose Cyndaquil. Now, where I said Totodile is the middle ground, where you're not going to be completely super effective in blazing through everything at accelerated rates, it's a good middle ground, then Cyndaquil is the exact antithesis of that. If you want to blaze through the game, so if you've played through the first part of the story and now you're playing through it again for some reason, you started over and you want to try using Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil is basically effective at the majority of the gyms. A lot of times, it has good special attack stats, so you would be having a safe bet on training it up to Typhlosion with Flamethrower or a move like Eruption, which has a total of 150 damage. If it's a fast Typhlosion, then definitely do that. And in that respect, on the competitive side, I would most recommend using a modest sped up Typhlosion. And basically, I just coined that term out of nowhere. But basically what you need to do is have a Cyndaquil who is at a modest nature, and so you're going to max out its special attack. You're not going to touch any other stat but its speed. So you're going to want to have 255 EVs on special attack and 255 EVs on speed. This way, you can always depend on your Typhlosion being super fast and always getting the first move, doing a stunning 150 damage with Eruption. So the problem is, even though it is a powerhouse, it does not have that many variations of moves. You have things like Fire Fang, I believe. I'm not certain. Don't quote me on that if it can learn it. But where Feraligatr it has both sides of the coin, and it has a large array of attacks it can possibly learn. Typhlosion is very limited. So my best bet for you guys would go attach the Choice Scarf onto Typhlosion, teach it Eruption, and some other special attacks just to counteract other Pokemon, and then raise its special attack and speed EVs. And do keep in mind, I plan to do an EV training series in the future, so you guys will have to just pardon that for now, and when I make those videos, it'll all be clear what I'm talking about, unless you guys already know. So that's my opinions of the Johto starters. My personal favorite is Cyndaquil because he was my first, and me and him had a lot of good memories. However, if you guys are considering a challenge, then consider that angle. Or if you're just making Pokemon eggs right now and trying to get another good competitive fighter. So consider all I've said, and until then, I am Diogen Z, and I am out, guys.